Have you ever thought about, how we can use like the power of nature itself to like create solutions for the world's problems? That's essentially what biotechnology is all about. And today we're going on a deep dive into this fascinating field to uncover some surprising examples of how it's already shaping our world.
And you might be surprised to learn that it's not as futuristic as it sounds.
Right. We've got three great sources to guide us today. Excerpts from the Wikipedia article on biotechnology, a built-in article called What is Biotech? Biotech definition and types of biotech, and a Johns Hopkins University blog post called What is Biotech and How to Get Into It. So maybe we should start with the basics. What exactly is biotechnology?
Well, the built-in article defines it as using living organisms and systems to create products and services, most commonly in healthcare and industrial applications.
Okay.
But it's important to remember that humans have been manipulating living organisms for millennia, whether they realized it or not. Think about brewing beer,
Yeah.
baking bread, even selectively breeding crops and livestock. Those were all early forms of biotechnology.
That's such an interesting point. It really puts things in perspective. It's not some brand new futuristic concept. The Wikipedia article mentions how ancient civilizations used fermentation for things like beer, bread, and soy sauce without even fully understanding the science behind it. They were harnessing the power of microorganisms without even realizing it.
Exactly. It wasn't until the 19th and 20th centuries that breakthroughs in microbiology and genetics really revolutionized the field. That's when we see things like producing acetone with bacteria during World War I, which is a pretty fascinating example mentioned in the Wikipedia piece.
Wow.
Then, of course, there's the discovery of penicillin in the 1920s, a total game changer for medicine.
So we have this long history, but then in the 20th century, it seems like the field just explodes with innovations like genetic engineering and recombinant DNA technology. Suddenly, we're talking about possibilities like gene editing and personalized medicine. It's pretty mind-blowing to think how far we've come.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what's really fascinating is how diverse the applications of biotechnology are. That's where the concept of the colors of biotechnology comes in. It's a way to categorize all these different areas where biotech is making a difference. Imagine it like a toolbox, with each color representing a different tool, each designed for a unique purpose.
Okay, I like that analogy. I've heard of red, green, and white biotechnology, but I'm not totally clear on what each one represents. Can you give me a quick overview? What tools are in our biotech toolbox?
So certainly. Let's start with red biotechnology. That's the medical tool in our toolbox. It encompasses everything from developing life-saving drugs like insulin and penicillin to pioneering gene therapies to creating personalized medicine based on an individual's genetic makeup. It's about using biotechnology to diagnose, treat, and prevent diseases.
It seems like red biotechnology has the potential to truly revolutionize healthcare as we know it.
Absolutely. Then we have green biotechnology, which focuses on agriculture. Think of it as our farming tool. This is where we see things like genetically modified crops designed to be resistant to pests, diseases, or harsh environments. The goal is to increase crop yields, boost nutritional content, and make agriculture more sustainable. One prominent example is golden rice, which we'll get to in a bit.
Golden rice, that rings a bell. I remember it being mentioned in the Wikipedia article, something about combating vitamin A deficiency. So green biotechnology is tackling global hunger and malnutrition.
Precisely. It's about using biotechnology to address food security and improve the nutritional value of crops. Golden rice is a great example of that. It was genetically engineered to produce beta-carotene, which our bodies convert into vitamin A, tackling a serious global health issue.
Wow, that's incredible. So we have our medical tool and our farming tool. What about white biotechnology?
That's our industrial tool. Yeah. White biotechnology focuses on using living organisms and their processes for industrial purposes. Think about using enzymes as catalysts to speed up reactions, designing organisms to produce valuable chemicals, or developing biofuels to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels. It's about using biotechnology to create more efficient and sustainable industrial processes.
So it sounds like biotechnology really has the potential to touch every aspect of our lives. And the built-in article mentioned a few other categories that I haven't heard much about, things like gray biotechnology for environmental solutions. They even talked about city trees, which I've seen popping up in cities, using biotech to filter air pollutants.
That's right. There are a few more tools in our biotech toolbox, each addressing specific areas. Gray biotechnology is focused on environmental applications, like using microorganisms to clean up pollution or promote biodiversity. Those city trees you mentioned are a great example. They use biofilters to remove harmful pollutants from the air.
It's amazing to see biotechnology being used in such creative and impactful ways, but I know there can be a lot of ethical considerations when you're dealing with this level of technological power, right? Both the Wikipedia and built-in articles mention that.
You're absolutely right. It's crucial to address the ethical implications of such a powerful technology, which is why we have something called violet biotechnology. Think of it as the regulatory tool in our toolbox. It focuses on the legal, ethical, and philosophical questions surrounding biotechnology. We have to consider the potential for misuse and ensure responsible development and application.
That makes sense. After all, any powerful tool can be used for good or for bad. Wikipedia even mentions dark biotechnology, which sounds a bit ominous.
It is a bit of a dark side. Dark biotechnology refers to the potential misuse of biotechnology, such as the development of biological weapons. It's a reminder that with any powerful tool, there's always a potential for harm, which is why ethical considerations and responsible development are so important.
It definitely sounds like there's a lot to consider when it comes to biotechnology, both the positive and the negative. It's a fascinating but complex landscape.
It is. But the potential benefits of biotechnology are enormous. And if we're going to navigate this complex landscape, it's crucial to have open and honest discussions about the potential impacts and ensure that these powerful tools are used responsibly.
Well said. And speaking of navigating this landscape, the Johns Hopkins article focused on getting into the biotech field. Now, you're someone who's clearly fascinated by this field. What stood out to you about the career advice in that article?
What I found particularly interesting is the emphasis on the multidisciplinary nature of the field. While scientific backgrounds are common, there's a growing need for expertise in other areas too. Things like operations, automation, and business development. It's not just about lab coats and test tubes anymore.
This is really encouraging. It seems like there are multiple entry points into the biotech world, depending on your interests and skill set. Did any specific advice from the article resonate with you?
One thing that stood out to me was the importance of a maximizing mindset, the ability to learn quickly and embrace failure as part of the scientific process. They even quoted a biotech leader, Nikki Fair, who said, "It's a weekly occurrence to not have things work," highlighting the iterative nature of research.
That's a great reminder that setbacks are part of the journey, especially in a field as experimental and innovative as biotech. You have to be resilient and adaptable.
Absolutely. And the article encourages exploring internships and networking with people in the industry to gain real-world experience and insights. Hands-on learning and building connections are invaluable.
It seems like the key takeaway is that a career in biotech requires passion, resilience, and a constant desire to learn and grow. I'm definitely feeling inspired. What about you? What stands out to you so far about the world of biotechnology? What are you most curious about?
What really intrigues me is how biotechnology is tackling global challenges. We've talked about addressing diseases, improving agriculture, and finding solutions for climate change. I'm fascinated by the potential of this field to make a real difference in the world.
I completely agree. And we've only just scratched the surface. In part 2 of our deep dive, we'll explore even more fascinating applications of biotechnology and delve deeper into its impact on our world. So stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive into biotechnology.
Yeah, it feels like we've already covered so much ground, but I'm ready to explore even more.
We've laid a good foundation.
Yeah.
And now we can really start digging into the impact biotechnology is having on the world. You know, when you think about it, biotechnology is fundamentally about understanding and manipulating the building blocks of life itself.
Right, like DNA, genes, proteins, all that stuff we learned about in biology class, but maybe didn't fully appreciate at the time.
Exactly. And that deep understanding is what's enabling us to develop solutions for some of humanity's biggest challenges.
Yeah.
Take healthcare, for example. The Johns Hopkins article pointed out how biotechnology is driving advancements not just in treating diseases, but in preventing them altogether.
That's a really crucial distinction. It's not just about finding cures after the fact, but about keeping people healthy in the first place. How is biotechnology contributing to that shift towards preventative healthcare?
Well, think about personalized medicine. That's where treatments are tailored to an individual's unique genetic makeup. By understanding your genetic predispositions, doctors can identify potential health risks early on and recommend lifestyle changes or preventative treatments.
That sounds incredibly futuristic. Is that something that's actually available now?
It's becoming more and more of a reality, and it has the potential to revolutionize healthcare. Imagine a world where we can proactively take steps to stay healthy based on our own genetic blueprint.
Yeah, instead of just reacting to illness, we're empowered to take control of our health. It's a really powerful concept.
Yeah.
What are some other examples of how biotechnology is transforming healthcare?
We're seeing incredible advancements in gene therapies, which hold promise for treating diseases that were previously considered incurable. And new diagnostic tools are being developed that can detect diseases earlier and more accurately when treatment is most effective.
It's incredible to think about all the possibilities, but it's not just healthcare, right? The built-in article mentioned how biotechnology is playing a role in addressing the climate crisis, which feels incredibly urgent right now.
Absolutely. We talked about biofuels earlier, but there are many other ways biotechnology is being used to combat climate change. For instance, scientists are developing genetically modified plants that can absorb more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, acting like superpowered trees to help fight global warming.
So, like plants that can help clean up our mess, that's pretty amazing.
It is. And researchers are also working on bioplastics, which are biodegradable and made from renewable resources.
Okay.
This could be a game changer in reducing our reliance on petroleum-based plastics, which are polluting our planet.
It seems like there's no limit to what biotechnology can achieve. But with great power comes great responsibility, right? We touched on ethical considerations earlier, but are there other concerns or challenges we need to be aware of?
There are. One concern is the potential for unintended consequences. When we manipulate living organisms, we don't always fully understand the long-term effects. It's crucial to proceed with caution, conduct thorough research and testing, and have strong safety protocols in place.
So like creating a genetically modified plant with the intention of helping the environment, but then it ends up having some unforeseen negative impact on the ecosystem.
Exactly. That's why rigorous testing and regulation are so important. Another challenge is ensuring equitable access to the benefits of biotechnology. These innovations can be expensive, and we need to make sure they're available to everyone, not just the wealthy.
That's a really important point. It wouldn't be right if only a select few could benefit from these life-changing advancements.
You're absolutely right. We have to consider the social and economic impacts of biotechnology and strive for a future where everyone can benefit from its potential.
It sounds like there's a lot of responsibility that comes with this power.
Right.
It's not just about the science, but also about ethics and equity.
It is. Biotechnology is a powerful tool, but it's a tool that needs to be wielded carefully and thoughtfully. It has the potential to solve some of the world's most pressing problems, but it also requires ethical decision-making and a commitment to social justice.
That raises an important question. How do we balance the potential benefits of biotechnology with the potential risks? How do we ensure that it's used for good and not for harm?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It requires ongoing dialogue and collaboration between scientists, policymakers, ethicists, and the public. We need to have open and honest conversations about the potential impacts of biotechnology and make informed decisions about how to move forward responsibly.
It sounds like a daunting task, but also a really important one.
It is, but it's also an incredibly exciting time to be involved in this field. Biotechnology is constantly evolving, and there are so many opportunities to make a difference. If you're passionate about science and want to use your skills to make a positive impact on the world, this is a field worth exploring.
You've definitely piqued my interest, but I also want to be mindful of the potential downsides. Earlier, we briefly mentioned dark biotechnology, which refers to the use of biotechnology for malicious purposes, like creating biological weapons.
It's a sobering thought, and it's a concern that shouldn't be ignored. That's why international cooperation and strict regulations are so important in this field. We need to work together to prevent the misuse of biotechnology and ensure that these powerful tools are used for good.
Yeah, it's incredible how biotechnology can be used to create life-saving medicines and combat climate change, but it can also be used for destruction. It's like something out of a science fiction movie, but it's real life.
It is a bit surreal. And as with any powerful technology, it comes down to human choices. We have the responsibility to use biotechnology wisely and ethically.
So, where do we go from here? What can we as individuals do to ensure that biotechnology is used for the benefit of humanity and the planet?
That's a great question. First and foremost, we need to stay informed. Educate yourself about the latest developments in biotechnology, the potential benefits and risks, and the ethical considerations. Engage in conversations with others about these issues and share your knowledge.
So, like, not just scrolling past those science articles on our news feeds.
Exactly. Take the time to read and understand the complex issues surrounding biotechnology. Don't be afraid to ask questions and challenge assumptions. The more informed we are as individuals, the better equipped we'll be to make informed decisions.
That makes sense. What else can we do?
Support organizations and initiatives that are working to advance responsible biotechnology. There are many groups dedicated to promoting ethical research, ensuring equitable access to biotechnology, and advocating for policies that protect the environment and public health.
So things like donating to research foundations or volunteering our time?
Exactly. Every little bit helps. And finally, use your voice. Talk to your friends, family, and elected officials about the importance of responsible biotechnology. Advocate for policies that promote ethical research and development and ensure that these powerful tools are used for the greater good.
It sounds like a call to action. We can't just sit back and let others decide the future of biotechnology. We all have a role to play in shaping its trajectory.
Absolutely. Biotechnology is too important to be left solely in the hands of scientists and policymakers. It's a societal issue that affects us all, and we all have a responsibility to engage.
I'm feeling empowered and a little overwhelmed, to be honest. There's so much to learn and do.
I understand. It can feel daunting. But remember, you don't have to become an expert overnight. Start by taking small steps, like reading an article, watching a documentary, or talking to someone who works in the field.
That's reassuring. It's a journey, not a destination.
Precisely. And the more we learn and engage, the better equipped we'll be to navigate the complex world of biotechnology and ensure that it's used to create a brighter future for everyone.
This deep dive has been really eye-opening. I feel like I've gained a whole new understanding of biotechnology and its potential impact on the world.
Me too. And we're not done yet. There's still so much more to explore and discover as biotechnology continues to evolve. In part 3 of our deep dive, we'll move from the abstract to the concrete and take a look at some specific examples of how biotechnology is being used today to solve problems and create change.
I can't wait to see how these innovations are playing out in the real world. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've spent the last 2 parts exploring the incredible world of biotechnology, from its ancient roots to its potential to address some of the biggest challenges facing humanity.
We've covered a lot of ground, but it's all been a bit theoretical so far.
Yeah.
Now I think it's time to bring things down to earth and look at some real-world examples of how biotechnology is being used today.
I like that. From theory to practice, what kind of examples come to mind? What really gets you excited about the possibilities of biotech?
Well, earlier we talked about golden rice, that genetically modified rice designed to combat vitamin A deficiency.
Right.
I think that's a fantastic example of how biotechnology can address a very specific, very real global health issue.
Right. Golden rice was mentioned in the Wikipedia article, but we didn't really dive into the details.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through how it actually works? It's not just about sprinkling vitamins into rice, right?
Not quite. It's much more ingenious than that. Scientists actually inserted genes from daffodils and bacteria into the rice genome. These genes enable the rice to produce beta-carotene, which our bodies convert into vitamin A.
Wow, that's fascinating. Using daffodil genes to enhance nutrition, talk about harnessing the power of nature.
Exactly. And the impact of this seemingly simple modification is potentially huge. Vitamin A deficiency can lead to blindness, weakened immune systems, and even death, especially in young children.
Wow.
Golden rice offers a sustainable and affordable way to improve the health and well-being of millions of people.
It sounds like a true breakthrough. But the Wikipedia article also mentions some controversy surrounding genetically modified organisms, or GMOs. Has golden rice faced any pushback?
It definitely has. There's been some opposition from groups concerned about the potential long-term environmental and health impacts of GMOs. Regulations, labeling requirements, and public perception have also played a role in slowing down its widespread adoption.
That's a good point. It highlights those ethical and societal considerations we discussed earlier. It's not always a straight line from scientific innovation to real-world application. Sometimes there are valid concerns that need to be addressed.
Absolutely. Especially when it comes to something as fundamental as the food we eat, it's important to proceed thoughtfully and transparently. But I think golden rice also illustrates the enormous potential of biotechnology to address critical global issues.
So golden rice is a compelling example of how biotechnology can improve lives. Do you have other case studies that demonstrate the different ways biotech is being applied today?
Definitely. Remember our conversation about personalized medicine? Well, there's a company called Foundation Medicine that's using genetic testing to help doctors create tailored cancer treatment plans.
Oh, right. That was mentioned in the built-in article.
Yeah.
So instead of a one-size-fits-all approach to cancer treatment, they're using a patient's unique genetic information to figure out the best course of action.
Precisely. By analyzing the DNA of a patient's tumor, Foundation Medicine can identify the specific mutations driving its growth. This allows doctors to recommend targeted therapies or clinical trials that are more likely to be effective for that individual.
That sounds incredibly powerful. It's like having a personalized roadmap for navigating cancer treatment.
It is, and it's already making a difference in patients' lives. They're receiving more precise and effective treatments, potentially leading to better outcomes and fewer side effects.
That's a great example of how biotechnology is changing the face of healthcare. Are there any other KISS studies that come to mind, perhaps in a different area of biotech?
Let's shift gears and talk about industrial biotechnology. Remember our discussion of using microorganisms to produce valuable chemicals and reduce our reliance on fossil fuels?
Yeah, that was the white biotechnology section, our industrial tool in the biotech toolbox.
Exactly. Well, there's a company called Core that's developed an enzyme that's completely changing the way we make laundry detergent.
Laundry detergent? Really? That's not what I was expecting.
It's a surprising application, right? But it's actually quite impactful. This enzyme allows detergents to work effectively at much lower temperatures, which means we can save energy and reduce our carbon footprint.
Wow, that's pretty neat. It's a great example of how biotechnology can be used to improve everyday products and make them more sustainable.
Exactly. And Core is just one of many companies using biotechnology to create more eco-friendly and efficient products across a wide range of industries.
It seems like the possibilities are endless. As we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one key takeaway you want our listener to remember about the world of biotechnology?
I think the most important thing to understand is that biotechnology isn't some distant futuristic concept. It's here, it's now, and it's already having a profound impact on our lives. From the food we eat, to the medicines we take, to the products we use every day, biotechnology is quietly revolutionizing our world.
I couldn't agree more. And it's clear that biotechnology is only going to become more prevalent and more impactful in the years to come. This deep dive has been an amazing journey, uncovering both the challenges and the incredible potential of this field.
It truly has. And the future of biotechnology is full of possibilities. It's up to all of us to engage in these conversations, stay informed, and advocate for the responsible and ethical use of this incredible technology so that we can create a better world for everyone.
Well said. And to our listener, if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, don't stop here. Explore the resources we mentioned, dive deeper into the areas that intrigue you most, and remember that you can be a part of shaping the future of this amazing field. Who knows, maybe you'll be the one developing the next groundbreaking biotech solution.
The world needs passionate and engaged individuals like you to help guide the future of biotechnology. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time, stay curious.